Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make a mask lanyard. So it looks like that a lot of places are having mask mandates again. And I noticed that I take mine off and on quite a bit. If I'm not around people, I'm not going to wear my mask. So I find that it would be easy for me to set it down somewhere or drop it or lose it. So I came up with these mask lanyards, and I've been making these for quite some time, over a year now. I've had several in my shop, and I'm getting ready to put some more in there. But, you know, for those of you who like to make your jewelry, I thought I would show you how to do it. This particular one, I wanted bright colors. So I just used some brightly colored e-beads that I had. I added a little shell bead at the end and just a lobster claw clasp on both ends, and they just fit very nicely on the mask. You just clip them on there like so. Sometimes you may not need a lanyard, and you may just want to wear a piece of jewelry, and you could actually just wear this as a necklace too. Or if your wrist is the right size for these, you could actually wear them as a bracelet. So I've made a few that I'm getting ready to post in my shop, and I've just used various beads. Basically, I just put the beads in a bowl and just pick up and string. There's no pattern to this at all. This one has a little bit more of a pattern. I used wooden beads and the glass e-beads in turquoise and white. This one again is just random. Just throw the beads in a bowl and grab and string up. So I do have a bag of beads that I've just been accumulating from different projects. And this necklace, or lanyard, which I'm not done. I don't have any more lobster claws, so I have to go get some more clasps. But basically what I did is I put these beads in a bowl and just grab and put them on a string, and that's what they came out. I actually really like these the best. Here's one I used with little tiny seed beads, and then I just randomly put bigger beads, different shaped beads. I even have a little seahorse there. This I actually made as a cruise lanyard, and I never did list it in my shop, but I just took it apart a little bit, and I'm just going to repurpose it as a mask lanyard. I think this one's really pretty. A friend of mine asked me to make her 4 lanyards and 4 masks. And so I'm going to start on this project. I know she likes neutral colors. So she didn't really tell me what to make. She just said whatever. So I'm going to start out, the first one I'm going to make is a neutral. And I've already got most of my beads in my bowl here. And they're mostly browns. So I have these beads, which are browns and a little bit of green in them, and they have a little bit of iridescence to them. And then I have these beads. We have white and kind of a golden color, and I already added that to my bowl. And these beads are mostly browns, but they're different shapes. And there's a little bit of gold in there too. And I've already added that to my bowl. I guess you could call this bead soup here. I am going to, at the end, like I did my personal one, she really liked this one here, how I did the seashells. I'm going to put the owls at the end, so I need 2 of those. I'll just put those in there. And I'm going to use these clamshell bead tips, and then the very end I will finish them off with some e-beads. We throw those in there, and of course we need our beading wire, And I just have an assortment of tools. For sure you're going to need some cutters. And I always have these on hand, my flat nose, my round nose, my cutters. They're always, whenever I'm creating, sitting there waiting for me. I'm also going to need some lobster claw clasps, which I have ran out, so I need to shop for some more, and some jump rings, 2 of each. This was a good size for her, and the beading part of it is 24 inches. So I usually like to just not cut my wire, just keep it on the spool as I bead. And just start out with the silver bead, and then my owl, which I want to make sure they're going to be facing the correct way. And since they will be, see, that's going to be upside down because it's going to hang like this. So I'm going to flip him. I'm going to make sure your owls are going in the right. I think that's right. Nope, they will. I had it right. So I have to think this out. This is going to be the end where the clasp is here. So I want my owl to be right side up. And then I'm just going to start putting the beads onto here. And even though this is random, I kind of pay attention to what's being put on. I don't want to have 10 of the same beads in a row. A couple of them, 3, 4, maybe okay. But I do want it to look random. Like I grabbed a whole bunch there of the same color. And a lot of times I actually like to put these in my hand like this and then just scoop them up. I have to put them really, really close to my face though because I cannot see the beads. So I won't be doing it like this for this tutorial because I will be totally out of the screenshot for sure. I know yesterday we went, I danced with a group of ladies, we're called Southern Sass. And before COVID, we used to go around and perform at different venues, mostly nursing homes and Alzheimer's unit. We would go to the VA and just different places whenever there were, like we had an annual crawfish boil and we would dance at that. And there were different little shows that the community had for senior citizens. And Southern Sass was always on the lineup for performing. And COVID has really ended that, and we hate it. But we are back open, and we're practicing. I don't know if we'll be dancing out anytime soon, but we do like to get together, and we social distance. We have a big room that we dance in, and so we try to keep separated, and we have our masks, so we're being safe and all. But yesterday I had my mask and one of these lanyards on, and everybody was like, "Oh, I want one, I want one." All right, I've got it almost finished. I'm ready to put the little owl on. I got to make sure that the owls are facing correctly. Let me double check that. Yep, they're facing correctly. Let me put the little silver bead at the top. And then I want to make sure this is the right size I want. I'm going to measure it up to this guy. And actually, I need to probably add a couple more beads. So we'll do 3 more. All right. Make sure I put my owl on correctly. And then the silver bead. And then we're going to finish it off. So we have this clam shell. It's called a bead cap. A lot of people, they will do a crimp bead and they'll use these as a cover. I actually tie knots and feed them in there instead of trying to crimp, which I am not good at that. this is how I actually learned to make jewelry many, many years ago. But I just tie 2 knots on top of each other, make sure they're tight. And then once I get those 2 knots that are on top of each other, the clam comes up and gobbles up those knots. And then I carefully close it up. And then I take my wire cutters. They're flush cutters. You want to make sure you cut it as close as possible. And I usually feel around if there's any scratchiness, which there is a little bit. You might be able to see it poking out a little bit there. I just take my nail and kind of shove it back in there. May have to lightly tap on that. But that's one end is done. Let me see if I can find that other clamshell. So I found it. And I'm going to clip off, I don't know, eyeball it. You need to clip off enough where you're going to be able to do 2 overhand knots on top of each other. So you put your clamshell on to the wire. And you're going to need something, I use this pen to pull your knots into the opening there. So I start out by just doing an overhand knot and then just feeding it in there. Make sure it goes inside. Sometimes it might want to wrap around the back or the front of that. Just make sure you're not doing that because it doesn't work out too well. And then another one. Guide it into that opening there. And then you take your flat nose pliers, gently squeeze it, cut off the excess. And we're just about done. All I need are the lobster claw clasps that I would just put on there. I use a jump ring to do so. Because they tend to hang better. If you don't use a jump ring, they seem to be a little stiff, and you don't want it to be stiff. See how that hangs very nicely? So I'll need to get a jump ring and a lobster claw clasp and put it in there, and I have my lanyard all done. I think I'm going to make a couple of more of these and put them in my shop. I think they turned out really cute. What do you think? Anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed this. Go make you a lanyard, or if you don't feel like it, you can go purchase one in my shop. But mostly, though, I want y'all to have a fantastically wonderful day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.